सिया राम जय जय राम सिया राम सिया राम जय जय राम सिया राम।
सबको रिझाता चल, सबसे निभाता चल, सबको रिझाता चल, मिल जाएंगे राम। राम नाम का अलख जगाता चल, मिल जाएंगे राम। राम धुन गाता चल, राम धुन गाता चल, राम धुन गाता चल, राम धुन।
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। We were studying the outcomes of unselfishness. And the first outcome of unselfishness is that you become a leader. Everybody wants to be in the top position. The CEO, the Prime Minister, the President, everybody wants this. But what is the coin by which you purchase this? There was a club over here in Mumbai. I don't know how it is in other places. But these clubs seem to have some kind of snob value. And how's it in Bangalore, Vidusha? There's these clubs with, where you take membership and then it's all snob value, especially old wealth. Either it has to be very old wealth or very new wealth, because these old wealth people have already bought the membership and only very, very new wealth can buy this membership. Like 1 crore is the price of a membership. I mean, that's how silly it is. I mean, not silly, that's how it's priced. So, what about you, Deepraj? Same in Assam also is like that?
I have no idea about this.
Okay. So, well, you're this club. Okay. Now, one man wanted to be the president of the club. So, he sent everybody one bottle. Not a bottle of water. I don't know what you all are understanding. He sent one bottle to everybody. Can you believe that? In another club, you know how these advertising hoardings are put? That election was done on those hoardings. Like, is it big ads or something? Or they put these big ads of the election for the club on the city hoarding. And then they lose after all this. Because what is it that gets you the vote is that you have served. This is an open secret. I mean, this everybody should know. Everybody probably does know, but somehow nobody wants to implement it. So if you want to become the top of your anything, the first thing is forget about becoming the top and serve. When you serve, you will no longer want to be at the top, but people will pick you up and put you there. This is a strange thing about life. Yes, Deepraj?
Um, if people are of a certain level, I can kind of see how they will want to elect somebody who is actually competent and service oriented and at the top. But there are also people who just cannot see. I mean, like a pioneer in a field that they were like they what they did to Galileo, like the revolutionizing concept, but they didn't accept him. So, in such a society, how can a unselfish person rise to the top?
Um, People understand very instinctively how their bread is buttered. If a person is working for them, they get it. It may take a little while, but they eventually get it. Everybody gets it. Even animals get it. If you have affection for the animal gets it, no? Somehow, how? So the dumber you are, the easier you seem to get these things. Don't ask me how. Just that's the way it works. Don't how does the animal know that you have affection for their? I don't know. Dumb people also get it. But of course, you have to keep, as you always know, ceteris paribus. You can't start serving them with something that they beyond their concept. Then it won't work. But but you get it normally. It's a simple thing. We did that example. Now you go to a hotel. That hotel fellow is genuinely interested in giving you a good meal, making you comfortable. He's genuinely interested. You go back then. You'll tell others about it. A doctor who's interested in your welfare means curing you. You get cured. You will treat him as God. So it works. Now, how is it that you're so dumb but you don't get it, and you still get, I don't know, but you seem to get it. Everybody can understand where their selfishness lies. I mean, in the sense, everybody can understand where they are going to be well looked after.
I guess also we remember Galileo, but we don't remember any of the others. We remember Jesus and we don't remember any of the others. So
Yes, immortality is also the outcome of. You're right, yes.
So, it is incumbent on the person practicing unselfishness to uh, understand like how he should show his cards.
Not how we should show his card, is genuinely doing it for the other person, for this other thing. And people get
No,
it.
but yeah, but if he is sometimes he wants to help the other person, but it's just not, the other person is not receptive to that thing. So he has to dumb it down, he has to limit his help.
Right. Because otherwise it is not a help, it is a show of superiority. This helping others is a very dicey thing. Because the moment you think about, I want to help somebody, you automatically put yourself in a superior position. And the moment you put yourself in a superior position, the other person doesn't want you. So unselfish is not an easy thing. We think we are being unselfish, but we are not. We think that, oh, you're so stupid, I'm going to run this for you. That person will chase you out with a broomstick. Yeah. Deepraj, you will soon be married. One day you will be married. And you go to try to help your wife. She will whack you one. So what do you think? I can't do it by myself? You see that there's an inherent superiority in this. Oh, I will handle your finances for you. No, please, I'll handle my own. Thank you very much. Because you are making the other person feel that you're not good enough. So unselfishness is concern about the welfare of the other person more than this helping. It's very difficult to use language to sort of explain this idea, because when we think we are being good, very, very often we are not being good. We are interfering.
I mean, let us take an example like somebody has an illness and there's a particular drug, and they go to the doctor, and the doctor says, okay, if you take this drug, then it will cure you. But they're like, no, no, my particular belief system is like, I cannot take this drug. You give me some other drug that will kind of take the disease down a notch, but the doctor says, yeah, it will just take the disease now down a notch, it won't cure you. So now the doctor has the option to actually cure the patient, but he cannot cure the patient because the patient is a superstitious person. In that situation, what will be the unselfish thing to do? Because he has a solution and he.
What is the unselfish thing to do? Your life, your call. Now you say, oh, I don't think that's correct. So I'll tell you. Do you remember what were Krishna's words at the end of the Bhagavad Gita?
I have told you everything. Now you do what you want.
Yatha ichhasi tatha kuru.
Tatha kuru.
So now you tell me, was that unselfish or not? To depersonalize it this much is amazing. It's your life. It is not my life. And therefore you have the power over it, not I.
Thank you.
Unselfishness is a very, very dicey thing. Dicey in the sense very difficult to understand. When are you actually serving the other person? And when are you exerting your superiority? That is why for unselfishness they use words like servant and all. So when I read servant, I was like, what? Why servant? मुझे क्यों नीचे दिखा रहे हो? मैं तो मदद कर रहा हूँ. That humility that goes with service. That I wish your welfare. I will do everything in your welfare. And I'm not superior because I do. It kind of, it's sort of, you have to, otherwise, many times you will find that even students of Vedanta, they get this instinctive sense of superiority. We use our intellect, you don't use your intellect, I will lead your life for you. It's an egoistical stance.
Ma'am, is that bad?
You decide. When you get married, you see what will be the consequence of that stance. ऐसे पढ़ेगी, सब ego निकल जाएगा.
No marriage for me, ma'am. Bharat Bhaiya comes first.
That is why you people are not learning Vedanta. First you all get married, then you all will learn Vedanta. And one whack. Oh, you want to help me? Who do you think you are? Your wife will talk to you like that. Rest of the world may not talk to you like that. So that's why marriage is very good, because your spouse will say anything they want. Nobody else will say those kind of things to you. Then you will know, oh, I did this, is it? I was behaving superior. Yes, Aditi?
Janki ji, but deep down within, a person always knows, right, that he's behaving superior, and no matter how he kind of uh, wails it at a conscious level, but somewhere there is a discomfort when a person does that. So it's not always that you're not aware of it, right?
No. You will get the reaction, no? People will throw off your help.
Not only people, you yourself also.
Even if you don't, of course, you will know. But if you choose not to know, you will get the backlash. You can know. You can choose not to know. If you choose not to know, you'll get the backlash.
So, but you always know, right? You choose not to know.
Yeah, you always know means it may not always occur to you how another person is listening, but over a period of time, when you're getting the backlash, you should stop and say, what am I doing wrong here? Now, we always feel somehow that we are better than the other. Okay, I've studied Vedanta. I have grown spiritually. I am this, I am that. Tone it down. And if you don't tone it down, then
Ma'am,
family
humility.
But when you do that, you always know that you are behaving from a superior, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily that you know, but you can know because you're going to get the backlash.
Okay.
Yes, Sarthak?
Ma'am, humility and self-righteousness can exist together also. Yes, I am superior than you, but I can always convey it in a tone that's very good for your ears, and it's sweet speech. And then you take it or not, it's your choice. But inside, I have the feeling I'm superior because I am. If it's true, then what's wrong about it?
Because you're not. What makes you think you're superior?
Ma'am, I'll give you one example. My mother, she has a habit of eating a lot of carbohydrates, and it's really causing a lot of inflammation in her body. Now, I go to the gym, I know what is proper diet, what is balanced diet. So I try to convey to that. There I feel superior, and I do give her the information. Rest she uses or not, it's her choice. But I do feel superior that I know. What's wrong about it?
You will not be able to help your mother.
Because she doesn't listen to me. She doesn't she has a particular way of living for which she has been using that way of living for years. I can't change that. I can give a suggestion, but at the end of the day, it's her choice, her life.
That's what I'm telling you. You take these stances you're taking and you can't help her.
The person has to help themselves.
You have not created a conducive environment for her to learn that. Because you have gone to her with this. So she will say, ये कल का बच्चा मुझे सिखा रहा है क्या खाना. It will be a clash, no? She will think, oh, you are something he learned at the gym, मुझे आके बता रहा. Those इतने क्या, what do they say? इतने not
बच्चे ऐसे something.
हाँ ना, what is that word? इतने बारिश नहीं देखे or something. इतने कुछ something नहीं देखे.
दिवाली दिवाली
दिवाली, अच्छा इतनी दिवाली तो नहीं देखी पर आया बड़ा मुझे सिखाने. So if you identify with her, then she'll listen to you.
Identify. Come, last sentence. Can you repeat the last sentence?
If you identify with her, she will listen to you.
Identify with her. What does that mean?
That means you feel one with her. You don't feel superior.
Okay. I mean, there is a tone of superiority inside, but outside there's humility. You can always be humble outside.
And you think people can't find out?
They do find out. That's
Yeah, anybody will do it with you, you will find out. There is so much going on in a human being below the surface. So sometimes below the surface is speaking to one another. You know, there is what is this in Sanskrit? There is this uh, Vakyartha and what's the other word? Mm, Vidushi, what's that word? Vakyartha.
Gudhartha.
Huh?
Gudhartha.
Okay, we can't say Gudhartha. There's a particular word they use in poetics. That your words are saying something, but your tone or your meaning is saying something. So you cannot influence another human being until you have first convinced that person that you feel one with that person.
Ma'am, in Katho also, if you see Nachiket, he was a bit arrogant. He had that sense of superiority just a little. You see, he was being cheeky. You keep your chariots and all with you, dance and all that with you. I don't want it. So he was being a bit cheeky. He was being, so to say, he had a little.
He didn't want it. Thank you very much. If you say no, thank you, doesn't mean you are cheeky. No, he was not cheeky. We wouldn't have got Brahma Vidya from Yamraj if he tried to be cheeky. Yamraj would have sent him off with a whack.
Okay, so he was just being logical that yeah, if I'm here, I'll get the wealth
That's what I
anyways.
came for, yeah. Suppose you come to class and then we start singing songs and doing dances and I don't know what, doing stand up comedy or something. You say, I came to learn Brahma Vidya, you're doing stand up comedy. You will also say, no, not for me. If you go to a stand up comedy and then we advertise, we say there's a nice stand up comedy, and then we go and give Vedanta lecture, people will say, hello, this is not what I came for. So I can't, I mean, rightly so. Yes, Jayashree, probably Bhavartha. Shabdartha and Bhavartha. Momita. Isn't unselfishness and its outer appreciation dependent on the yoga too? A Rajasic or Tamasic society will just resent the Sattvic. Yes, that is true, but then you're changing other data around this whole thing. That's the point we did with Sarthak. Yes, not Sarthak, so Deepraj. It is possible that people will not recognize the service you do, but it's only a question of time. The more subtle the service, the longer it will take. But even those who don't understand will still appreciate. See, you know, we are trying to put up Vedanta University, as you know. There are many people who don't really understand why we're doing this. I take on all this. But very, very surprising, what is incredibly surprising is, though they don't understand it, they still appreciate it. Ask Jayashree if you don't believe me. She goes to people and she tells them, this is what we're doing. And their first reaction is, oh, very good, very, very, very nice work you all are doing. Some even give a donation for it. But you ask them, why do you think Vedanta University should come? They're annoying. पता नहीं होता होगा कुछ अच्छी चीज. So many people who are working hard for us who haven't the faintest idea what we're trying to do. But they feel that कुछ है यहाँ पे. How do they think so? They seem to know. So yes, they may not resent the sattvic, but they may take time to recognize that it is sattvic. Those who resent the sattvic are in a really bad position. I mean, they are like the asuras in chapter 16. the not 16, sorry, in chapter 11 of the Gita, it says the asuras are all running away. You see the Lord and they want to run away. But that are very pathetic, very low and very small percent. So, Mahesh, a philosophy that says you are God has little hope for humility. Mahesh, just the opposite. The philosophy that says that you are God is the only hope for humility. Because what is humility after all? Humility is not giving importance to your body, mind, and intellect. So if you realize that you are God, then where's the question of thinking your body, mind, intellect is so great? If you realize you are God, you understand everybody else is God. So where is superiority or inferiority? All of us are the same. So the
Ma'am, this is an incorrect statement, right? You are God. We are actually, the correct statement would be God alone is. God alone is we don't exist.
who's the we?
The body, mind, intellect.
So if God alone exists and body, mind, intellect doesn't exist, that means you are God.
Ma'am, actually in Mahesh Bhiya's statement, you are God. I think he's taking you to be the body, mind, and intellect. That's why there's always a confusion.
Right. After 20 years of Vedanta, I hope he doesn't think that the body, mind, intellect is God. I mean, on day one also, you shouldn't think.
Ma'am, in YouTube, everyone is always fighting that Mayavadis are saying you are God, but their you definition is wrong.
No, you means your essential nature.
Yes, their definition is wrong.
It is God, yeah.
Just check what Shankara says, okay?
Shankara says. We cannot go and check all of what Shankara says. If you know what Shankara says, then you tell us the text, you tell us the verse, you tell us what is before it, after it, then we can have a look at it. Check what Shankara says. What is that even supposed to mean? Read all his works? Tell us what you want to say. Deep Raj. But Mahesh, the philosophy is you and everyone thing is God. Yes, correct. All right. Now let us continue. The first outcome of unselfishness is leadership. And you will see that people who are the most service oriented have leadership thrust onto them. They are not even working for leadership, they become leaders, not because they want it, but because everybody else wants it. A very, very interesting phenomenon. And please, whatever logic you people want to use to deny this, keep the logic for a moment aside and practice and see what happens. Just do it and see what happens. Because logic is a wonderful thing. You can prove anything one way or the other. So try. Your logic must fit the ground realities. When the logic and the ground realities do not merge, the troubles of life start. Okay, so where were we? We did think of all the great leaders of history. That's what we did, right?
We finished leadership.
We finished leadership. No, we didn't. Did we finish it?
No, I think of all great leaders.
No, I think of all great.
Sorry.
Think of all the great leaders of history: Chhatrapati Shivaji, Rana Sanga, Martin Luther King Jr. Thousands of people followed them. They were able to galvanize the masses. They had immense power over their subordinates. They performed what others could not even imagine. They became the stuff of legends. Their deeds verged on the miraculous. Help came to them when all seemed lost. They were often rescued almost by divine intervention. Have you read all their stories? I mean, don't read it, but it's an amazing thing. How people who have worked for a cause, how like divine intervention, something happens. You struggle and struggle and struggle to do something, you're just not able to do it. And then something happens by which that thing gets done. And all sorts of stories you will hear. Do any of you all know any of these stories? How almost by divine intervention, they got saved at the last minute, or they got benefited at the last minute. Or do you know any such story which you would like to share? But please.
Yes, Rana Sangha has a story himself.
Huh?
I was just giving an example. You want the whole story?
Yeah, give in brief now. Pura 3 hour ka movie nahi bolna. Only the story in brief.
Yeah, I'll think of something. First, let other students have the chance.
Okay, anybody else has anything? Anybody knows any good thing where somebody was working for a cause? It almost looks like it's all gone, it's you've lost. And then suddenly something happens.
Yeah, the way Shivaji Maharaj managed to escape from Agra in those basket of sweets, that was miraculous.
Yeah, correct. You all know the story. He was caught by the Mughals and imprisoned in Agra with his son. And somehow he escaped from there. How on earth did he manage? He put in some basket and escaped from there. Sounds ridiculous. No? How is that even possible? Don't you think that's funny that he can escape in baskets? Like how he meets Afzal Khan. You know, Afzal Khan was massive, and Shivaji, in comparison, was diminutive. So how does this diminutive Shivaji fight Afzal Khan, massive guy, and win? You know what they did to him? They said that we will meet as friends, and all your soldiers and all your weapons should be kept outside, since we're meeting as friends. Yeah, they told him that. So Shivaji, all his men were outside, all his weapons were outside. And then Afzal Khan, same. He also had to keep his best weapons and his men outside. And these two were supposed to meet as friends and do whatever negotiations they had to do. So Afzal Khan was this massive giant of a man. So when he met Shivaji, he met him as a friend, right? So he went and hugged him. Now this was all a trick because he was so big and Shivaji comparatively was diminutive. So he hugged him so hard that the idea was he was going to kill him in that hug. But Shivaji was also smart. He had worn Wagner. You know, Wagner, the thing. And he escaped from that near fatal hug of Afzal Khan. Now, when you look at it, you think about it. All he had, a small fellow, all he had was nails, basically. And he protected himself from Afzal Khan, one giant. Strange, no? Mahesh Ursekar. Divine intervention is seen in the lives of the Marathi Bhakti saints all the time. Yes, we know, but if you know a story, tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll be sort of as per the philosophy that we follow, in the sense.
Nadi Baba, you tell a story where he was
There's so many cases
Give
when.
one story.
Yeah, when Chokha Mela, who was outcast and yet had, love for Vitthal. So he was so immersed once, he was told by someone to take the cows for a grazing. And so he was so immersed in the thought of the Lord and singing that the cows, sort of strayed away and he was not keeping his attention. And the story goes that Vitthal takes his form and takes the cows back to the owner. And when Chokamela comes to realization that he should be working, he doesn't see any cows, so he goes worried to the owner. So the owner says, "Hey, you came and already kept the cows back. Why are you asking again?" And that's just one example. Tukaram's life, there's so many examples where, I mean, there's literal divine, in the sense the divine has stepped in.
I also remembered one example now, ma'am.
Okay, tell, but let's do the
Ma'am,
divine intervention of these bhakti saints. They all talk in poetry. The thing is that when you are imbued with the spirit of the Lord, you are not there. And when you are not there, whatever action you perform, that's divine action. You say, I was not there. Even Ramatirtha gives the example of the virgin birth like that. Otherwise, what is the meaning of this term virgin birth? Is it possible? What does this mean? It was a virgin birth. It means the absence of those individuals. They were so lost in the divine, whatever ecstasy that's all that there was there for them. And so they were not there. The body, mind, intellect was not there, as it were. So he explains it. You can read it. So similarly, all these saints have this thing that it seems like it's stuff of legends. How is this even possible? And yet somehow it happens. Jayashree has been working to raise funds for our cabins, our cottages, for the course. And she has had a very dry run. Very, very dry run. Nobody is giving her any chara whatsoever. Today she called up one gentleman and said whatever she must be saying to everybody. She said that to him also. She hung up and he put 6 lakhs into the account. What do you think of that? Just when we thought that this is impossible and we are getting nowhere. Divine intervention. What can we say? Yes, Sarthak, tell your story.
Ma'am, the story of Mirabai comes to mind. That she was the bahu of the Parivar, Rajput Parivar of Mewar, and she was, she used to roam around in the streets with commoners. Like she was in the rich dynasty, and she was like roaming among the commoners and the peasants, and she was singing. She was lost in her bhakti songs, and you will see that there were many assassination attempts by people in her own family, and every day she used to give bhog to Shri Krishna, and everyone knew that she only takes her food from that bhog, so that bhog was poisoned by her family members, and surprisingly she ate it. She suffered from the effects, but she didn't die. And this is not one singular incident. Exact same assassination attempts were made many times, but she never died from them.
Yes, that's stuff of legends, right? It's how is any of this believable? So then they say, no, God something. God didn't do anything. It's a law of life. Please. God is there with us as much as He is there with all these noble people. Let us become noble people and we will feel the presence of Lord just as much. Purify yourself. Your Lord is right here with you. He has never left. He is with you. Oh, Jayashree has also given Mirabai's cup of poison. Yes, by the grace of Krishna, become nectar. By the grace of Krishna. Um, 7 Akshaunis the Pandavas had. 11 Akshaunis the Kauravas had. Who's going to win this war? Obviously, the Kauravas have to win it. They're almost double. The Pandavas win it. Bhagat Singh disguised himself when the British forces were on the lookout for him. He was caught but talked himself out of it and escaped. Sounds impossible. Sounds unbelievable. Yes, Omkar?
Am I audible, Janti?
Yes, yes.
Right. So this is a confusion when we speak about miraculous things happening, and the example that Mahesh gave, and I also know of some such examples of bhakti bhaktas in Gujarat. Where the God in as a person came and helped them. The question comes to mind that we do not personify God, we, and yet we know of stories of Krishna taking a form of a let's say a sage and coming and helping Narsi Mehta, and many such stories are there. So how does one reconcile with this thought? Advaita, Dvaita, or is it? And how can God be taking a form and coming and helping the bhaktas?
Same thing what was spoken of earlier, that you have to when the bhaktas talk about it, they all talk in poetry. When the jnanis talk about it, they make it all mathematical. So you think that the jnanis are telling the truth and the bhaktas are saying fake things. But that's not true. They are saying the same thing. Same idea, when you have lost all identification with your body, mind, when you feel just one with everybody. It's like the self is there and you're not there. Or your real self is there, the false self is not there. Or God is there and you're not there. That's what it's referring to. God is handling it for you. Can you please leave it alone? You do your work. Let the body have its perceptions and actions. Let the mind have its emotions. Let the intellect have its thoughts. You leave it with that. And when you leave it with that, the Lord takes over. You don't worry about what is going on. Now, when we say it, in a sort of intellectual way, then you say, okay, maybe that's possible. But God took a form and came. God taking a form. He's told you himself. What is the form God took? God took the form of that person, right?
Amen.
The form of God. Understand, he's saying, God came and took the form. No. And Chola is not available. God is functioning in his form. It's pure Advaita. What other thing is Advaita? And now, if God will function through all of us, if we just step out of the way, if the false identification is removed, God is functioning anyway through all of us. If we stop messing it up, it is what it is. No, the body, mind, intellect is very important to me. I want to hang on. Then suffer, then God leaves. That's what Emerson said. Whatever work we leave to God, God does and blesses. Whatever work we choose to be our own, God leaves alone.
So, in the context of cause and effect, let's say something like for our example, we are putting in all effort that we can for the university. We are at least putting effort in on one direction, and it may so happen that somebody just signs us a check of 100 crores out of the blue. So that can happen all because we are, let's say we are putting uh, we are putting effort in that particular direction. But in this case of Nasi Mehta, he was absolutely not putting in any effort in the direction in which he was getting results. And yet, for example, one of the stories says that he wrote a kundi or let's say a check in the name of the god, which was sure to be, and that person was not existing, and the god came and took the form of that person and accepted the hundi. Now, there is no effort in that direction, and yet he got results. So, putting efforts and getting results, delayed results is understandable. But how does one explain this one?
Same thing. You put in effort, put in effort, put in effort. The consequence of your effort, if you're good, if it is noble effort, is that your personality imposition upon the self keeps reducing. That is the whole point of Karma Yoga, right? That your own imposition reduces. And once you have achieved so much, things will all fall into place. The same thing, this division between Advaita, Dvaita, and all is just made by people who don't get the base idea. Remove yourself. Even the Bible says, empty thyself and I shall fill you. Your only job is empty yourself. And I will fill you. Don't worry. Don't say, oh no, but I'm not put work in that direction. Of course, he put work in the direction. He made a check, he put it in the hundi, he did whatever he needed to do. Nothing happens without the work. Get that. And nothing happens if you put yourself in the work. So you have to learn the art somehow of working without yourself being present. Like an artist. An artist, when he's painting, a great artist, when he's painting, he doesn't exist. He doesn't think, oh, I should put this color. He does not think I should, if I do it like this, I will make a lot of money. He doesn't think anything. He empties himself of himself. Now, you can't directly empty yourself of yourself. That can't be done. You say, okay, I'm going to forget about myself and do a nice painting. You can't do that. Therefore, what is the methodology of doing this?
Bhakti Jnana.
The methodology is
Work for a higher cause.
very good. Work for a higher cause. Because that makes it concrete in your mind. There is something you're doing for something other than yourself. And every time the thought of yourself comes, which will interrupt that process, you can negate it because it's clear to you. Okay, shall I be egoistical and fight with my colleague and then create disharmony in the organization and then we fail at whatever we're doing? Or shall I say, okay, forget it, he is what he is, she is what he is, let us all work together. So slowly, that dissolution is taking place. And when you are able to dissolve it, what remains is divinity. It will all take care of itself. You don't worry. Just empty thyself and I shall fill thee with the Lord. So everywhere across, whether it's the Bhakti tradition, whether it is other traditions, whether it is Jnana Yoga, everybody is saying exactly the same thing. For those who have eyes to see. And those who can't see, now main kya karu? You see whatever you want to see. What am I supposed to do about that? Momita. In Japan, Nichiren, a monk who was propagating the Lotus Sutra, a non-dualist text as the final revelation of the Buddha, was sentenced to be executed. He apparently commanded protection, and a meteor streaked through, scaring the soldiers who refused to execute him. He took them to a nearby bar and offered them sake along with explanations of the Lotus Sutra. That's nice. You don't execute me and we'll all go to the pub together. Nice one. So, this is really what happens. Nobody believes it, but this is really what happens. And throughout history, you will feel so many examples across the globe. If this was not true, why is everybody reporting it? Across the globe, across generations. This basic idea that there's a good man, he is in a problem, and he gets protection. This basic baseline story. Have you not heard it across the board? Every single story tells you that. Have you ever heard that it has not happened? Everywhere, whether it is a fairy story, whether it is the story of the heroes, they go to find something and then they don't know what to do, and then some angel or some witch or some wizard or somebody comes and helps them, and then they achieve whatever they have to achieve. The standard story across all civilizations, across all periods of time. It covers time, it covers space. Why on earth don't we believe? Logically, through stories, through experiences. Now, see, all along this happens. All you need to do is remove yourself. That's all you need to do. 1 second, Sarthak, I will come to you. I have a long list ahead of you. Prashant, perhaps in sports where we think everything is lost, but somehow we end up winning in a miraculous way. Yeah, even sports movies, you see that. In real sport, of course, all the time, there's this good gang. And then it's the last minute. And they missed the thing. And then somehow at the last minute, some absolutely nonsensical thing happens and they win. Lagan. Everyone is telling us the story. And we say, no. There must be something else. No, Baba, everybody is telling us the same story. Please learn it. Vidushin, the merchant of Venice, Antonio was saved by Portia at the trial when all hope was lost. Yes. She finally came up with some idea by which she could save him. Now, how did she come up with that idea? Had she got any personal interest in this, it would have not allowed that idea to come through. But when she's removed herself from the equation, she's only saving her husband's friend. What a long way off. Not her husband, not her brother, her husband's friend. What is the definition of the divine here? There is no change in definition, Mahesh. Same definition, which is there is no definition of the divine. That 100 times. Now who? Aditi.
Yankini, sorry, just a follow-up on Mahesh's question. I remember we talking about this once, that if you see the Lord, if you get the darshan of the Lord, please go and check yourself. You're hallucinating. That was something like, if I remember the exact words.
Correct.
And
yes.
and all these bhaktas are all talking about the darshan of the Lord and Lord coming and helping them in person. I'm still not able to reconcile this.
Arey Baba, now I just told you. You go back and you listen. Twice I have told you. You have to listen to this all over again. One last, third time I'm making an attempt. But I won't do it again now. Listen carefully. When they say the Lord has taken a form and achieved this, they mean they've taken your form. He's taken your form, because that is the fact. Okay, the Lord, that means the self, has taken a form. What is that form? Omkar. Now, when Omkar reduces his identification with Omkar, what remains is the self. So the way to achieve miraculous deeds is just stop thinking of yourself. But you can't stop thinking of yourself because nobody can tell you to stop thinking of yourself. So how do you get a methodology to do that? You do it by thinking of something higher, nobler, better. And as that personality comes down, you see miraculous things happening around you. And that is the explanation of how across the centuries, across the globe, same story, how do they all have? Same story. There was a man, he was very good, he got into some problem, somebody came and helped him in the problem, and then he won maybe the beautiful girl or the beautiful prize or whatever it is he had set out to win. He's of course tested. In these stories, there are some tests that come along. He has to deal with whatever those tests are. This is common story. You read anybody anywhere. Okay, Omkar.
Yeah.
Okay. Aditi, huh? I
No,
didn't
I'm
hear
sorry. I
you.
was just saying food for thought.
Yes, Aditi.
Hari Om Janki ji. Just a small example in the family. My father has been writing bhajans for over 25 years now. And his only one aim was to reach maximum, the words of the Vedas to reach maximum years. Being a very simple man, all he kept doing was writing and sharing it with a few people that who were interested in. And such so that and he's not a computer savvy person, being 83, and he doesn't know much of computers. But it started with me doing some videos for him. And then slowly, there were a couple of people who kept pulling in and making some videos so that these bhajans, reach maximum amount of people. And today he has over 600 bhajans on the internet. Uh,
Hmm.
it's just that one thing that he's like, these are the words of God. I'm doing nothing. And this is directly coming from the Vedas. All I do is make poetry out of it. So it doesn't matter, whoever is taking it and making use of it, he has no problem with that. All he wants to do is that the knowledge spreads. So there are people now without him even asking for any help, they just do it now, and that's what it is. So yeah, this is something that I could think of in the family that's happening.
Very nice. Just do whatever you can do, and all of nature will come and help you. Don't worry. Or even our young Bhavna, she's inspired with this idea of Vedanta University, and she wants to do something for it. And she did. She raised a substantial amount of money. Did you think, but she's not even like poor thing. Nobody taught her how to say what to whom. She took off on her own. Oh, over here, what we do, we're very organized. Everybody knows exactly what is the point to be said, how we say. She just took off on her own. She's raised the funds while everybody else is still figuring out what to say to anybody, how to raise some money. Already done it. Money's in the bank. Where does this come from? So just focus on something higher and work. The Lord Himself will help you. That is why it sounds so miraculous. It sounds like, who can even believe this? If you don't believe it, I would not be surprised. Because it sounds, you see, Moses. Moses, he wanted to take his people out of slavery. Then what happened? He met the Red Sea. The Pharaoh's men are behind him. Red Sea is in front of him. The Red Sea opened and he walked through. And then it closed again also before the Pharaoh's people came. What is all this? What are they trying to tell you? I mean, it all just sounds, you can make a mockery out of it and say, oh, what nonsense. There's no such thing. Okay, there's no such thing. But then please explain how every culture, every tradition, everybody says. So we can't settle it by argument. So go practice. See whether it works. Narendra Singh Negi. Who you are doesn't mean losing one's identity. It's focusing on being rather than becoming. You can't, in theory, you're correct, but you cannot do that. You cannot execute that. If you try to execute this, the theory is correct, but there's no methodology of execution here. So many people do that. Okay, I am the self. I am the self. I'm not the body, mind, intellect. So what happens is they become a bit lost. But if you are able to think of the higher, that real identification with your own personality decreases. And this is like hardcore from within you. If you can do even a little bit of this, you're that much ahead of the game in terms of losing identification. Otherwise, everybody knows. People think Vedanta says that, and it does, that reduce your identification with the body, mind, intellect. That's a standard Vedantic thing. But it's not a methodology of execution. It is what is to be done. How it is to be done? Fix a higher goal. Work unselfishly. People miss this little portion and therefore sometimes they get a bit confused on the path.
But also they say if you focus on who the speaker is.
Yeah, but you can't do this directly until you have already become unselfish. If you're already highly unselfish, that you don't, then you can focus like that. But if you're not
Like
already
in your book you've written, one is what you have. That means when you're focusing on what you have, it is selfishness. And when I'm focusing on who really I am, that means I'm losing my identity through nobler work. Then automatically mind becomes silent, person becomes impersonal.
Correct.
Is that all right?
That's all right. That's right. As long as I'm doing that noble. And the outcome of that is leadership and miracles. Like, ye hua kaise? People can't believe. They'll say this can't happen. It's false. But it has happened. Sarthak. Prashant G example 2006 Malaysia Open final Lin Dan versus Lee Chong Wei. He was many points behind but recovered and won. Okay, very good. All right, so that's it, Sarthak. I'm assuming that is your point. So, what you've written, right? You have something else?
No, actually I have, but the class is over, so we'll take it up maybe next time.
Okay, fine. All right, so that's it for today. Now, next Friday,